two countries. These countries have a lot in common. Both countries were home to ancient civilizations dating back to 1000 BC. In the 1800s, both countries accounted to 50% of the world's trade, which is a position they will soon occupy again with their rapidly growing economies. They both are extremely populous, want to be Asia's undisputed superpower, are nuclear armed, and are also led by fierce but questionable nationalist leaders. But in recent times,
20 Indian soldiers were killed along the border with China for the first time in 45 years.
India seething after Chinese barbarism. Pharma giants are now calling on the government to create an enabling environment to take on China. Businesses, buyers and consumers calling for an economic boycott.
Gathering the Chinese products from their homes and setting them on fire.
By a growing call within and outside the establishment to punish Beijing by boycotting Chinese products.
Regional governments have cancelled Chinese contracts and imports, disrupting the flow of Chinese products. But the actual repercussions of a boycott is something we have no idea about. The story of two countries begins not now, but nearly 60 years back. And what then was thought to be the end of China-India relations was just the beginning.
Brutally, peace-loving India has been awakened to the facts of communist aggression. Enraged mobs in New Delhi call down curses on Red China. Young Indians are enraged by the treachery of a neighboring country they had looked on as a friend. China's invasion is completely unjustified, and every store owned by Chinese was attacked.
To understand how a boycott would affect these countries, you have to understand how their economies operate. There are no two countries more yin and yang than China and India. What China is good at, India is not, and vice versa. China favors entrepreneurship. The government is the entrepreneur in many ways. India is more conservative. It has a booming private sector, but the government-led efficiency is rare. As a result, the type of companies that come in and survive in these countries are very different. China's rising economy is related to its export-led growth, hence the call for boycotts of its products.
China's economy has grown faster than that of any other major country. Once poor and underdeveloped, the Asian giant has now grown into one of the most important export markets for manufacturers from all over the world, a true heavyweight in international trade.
But the relationship between these two countries cannot be viewed in such a narrow perspective. Both the nations have invested heavily in each other. India's particular cost-cutting policy has encouraged the procurement of goods from China than to encourage local manufacturing. There are going to be key pieces of goods and machinery that cannot be made by Indian firms, at least not for the next few years. Look at China's percentage of imported products that India heavily depends on. More than 76% of all imported antibiotics are from China. The Chinese also have a 50% share of the mobile handset market, with brands such as Vivo and Oppo all constituting to a major part of Indian devices, owing to their cheaper rates and a pretty decent quality standard. This is a chart that shows the estimated investment of Chinese capital in Indian startups. Chinese capital has funded at least 92 different Indian startups, and yes, all major startups that have transformed the industry in India have had Chinese capital infusion in them. And then there is the case of the various Indian companies that sell goods and services in China. India's aim to be self-reliant is an amazing idea, but it's going to take us years to get to that kind of position. Chinese companies in India cannot be asked to pack up and leave just as Indian companies in China couldn't be. Being self-reliant will mean creating the capacity and the opportunity and the right conditions for Indian manufacturing to flourish, which we currently don't have the resources for. Having an alternate to China is desired by many, and India is vying to be in that position and fit the bill. But India's economy is still fragile compared to the market-dominating Chinese economy. In order to stand ground with the Chinese and not lose, it's going to take us years of reorganizing our supply chains with a strong self-dependency and a growth-led economic focus. For now, we are far away from both.